Good morning. Today we'll study about recursion. It's a very simple problem solving technique. The main idea is you will make the given problem smaller and identical version of itself. So there will be a function called which calls by itself. And two main thing about recursion is there will be a base case and a recursive case. The base case is the simplest problem, and the recursive case is where the function calls itself with a smaller problem. When you are designing a recursive function or recursive solution, you have to think about four important points. One, how can you define the problems in terms of a smaller problem of the same type? Two, how does each recursive call diminish the size of the problem? Three, what instance of the problem can serve as the base case? Four, as the problem size diminishes, will you reach the base case? With this in mind, you should design the solution. So let me consider a simple example which you have studied in school, that is factorial. All of us know that n factorial is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2, etc. up to 1. For example, what is 5 factorial? 5 factorial is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, and that is 120. So can we find factorial of a number using recursion? The answer is yes. For example, we know that n factorial is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into etc. 1. And what is n minus 1 factorial? That is precisely n minus 1 into n minus 2 into etc. 1. So I can say that n factorial is n into n minus 1 factorial. Or in other words, 5 factorial is 5 into 4 factorial. So we'll use this. And to understand this completely, the Python code, you should know about functions. I hope all of you know about functions. If you don't know about functions, please learn functions. You can learn functions from my video, whose link is given in the description box. Let us consider a Python code, a simple Python code. Let us see the main function. Here, in the main function, if the value of n is 1, what will you do? It will call fact n. So what happens? This n is a parameter and the value of n is 1, it will come here. Once it comes here, this is the function definition for factorial. So it will first, what it will do, it will say, it will print fact n is called. Then it will give a prompt to press any key. Once you press any key, it will come here. And what is the value of n? N is equal to 1. So what will it do? It will print this on the screen, and then it will return 1. So when it returns 1, answer is 1. So it will print factorial of n is 1. So I'll repeat again. So you should know about function calls very clearly. If you are not clear about function call, please watch my video about functions, whose link is given in the description box. So let me repeat again. When n is 1, the parameter value is 1. So it will call the function fact. What do I mean by call the function fact? It will come here. Once it comes here, the value of n will be 1, and this will be printed on the screen. Fact 1 is called. Then this line will be printed on the screen. Then we'll check this if condition. This is our base case. N is equal to 1, so what will happen? This will be printed. Base case reached for n is equal to 1, and it will return 1. Once it returns 1, I am here. So the value of answer is 1, so it will do this print. Factorial of n is 1. So let us see this example. I pressed any key. You can see the output. What does it say? Fact 1 called, press any key, base case reached for n equal to 1. Now suppose I call this function for n is equal to 2. What will happen? So recall function called, fact is calling with the parameter value n equal to 2. Then it will come here. Once it comes here, it will print on the screen, fact 2 is called. So initially I am calling the function fact 2. Then it checks this if condition, this if block. The if block will not be executed. Why? Because n is 2. Then this is the point of recursion. what is the result n into fact of n minus 1. So fact of n minus 1 is another call. This is what is called recursion. The fact is calling fact again. Now what is the value of n now? The value of n is now 1. So it comes again here. The first call is not over. The value of n is 1 here. It will come here. So it will say fact 1 is called. Then it checks this if condition. When it checks this if condition, it realizes that the base case is reached. So wherever this fact n minus 1 is called, number 1 will come here. So what is the result? The result is 2 into 1. Now the fact 2 will be returned. So let us execute this program. So it made the first function called. It is here, fact 2 is called. It is here, that is why this print statement came. Now it will check this if condition. That will not be satisfied. So it will come here. When it comes here, it will call fact 1. So let us see. Now fact 1 is called. So what is the value of n? The value of n is 1. It is a base case. So it will return 1. It is returning 1 to where? It is returning 1 to this point. So let us see. So base case is reached, fact 2 is completed, and then returning 2, and fact total of 2 is 2. Suppose I run this program with n is equal to 5. I'm running it again with n is equal to 2. Let me run it with n is equal to 5. When I call the function n is equal to 5, the first function call is, then comes, what will fact5 do? It realizes that it's not the base case, so it will call 5 into fact 4. Then it realizes that it is 4, factorial 4 is 4 into fact 3, it will call fact 3. Fact 3 will call fact 2. Fact 2 will call fact 1, which is the base case. Now I'll get all the answers. First fact 2 is completed, then fact 3 is completed, then fact 4 is completed, then fact 5 is completed. So I hope you understood how factorial is found using recursion. So wish you all the best. If you have any doubt, please put it in the comment box. And this Jupyter notebook link also is there in the comment box where you can see the code completely. So thank you very much.